Hi, I'm Lucy Charles, and you're watching IronmanHacks.
Hey everybody, Andrew Patterson here from IronmanHacks, and I'm happy to be with Jessica Cullen. Jessica, maybe can you introduce yourself?
Yes. Well, firstly, thanks for having me. This is so great. I am a professional triathlete, brand new rookie season, having lots of fun. I got my pro card after qualifying with Ironman Canada. And then because being a Canadian professional triathlete doesn't pay extraordinarily well, I'm also managing partner at Regenerative Capital Group. So I do some things for a day job, but passion is triathlon for sure.
Tremendous. And so you won Mount Tremblant last year, basically a year ago. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly a year. And in fact, before the episode, we were talking about I'm on my way there now to race again this year. So it's a race that's near and dear to my heart for sure.
So what does the field look like this year?
Oh my gosh, it is stacked. I was saying to someone the other day that it actually feels like every time that I look at one of the Ironman races in the Ironman series, it's like the world championship every single race. It's a little bit surreal to be able to set up my bike or go to the pro briefing with some of the top pros in the entire world. It's humbling and it's a wonderful experience. They're so welcoming and it's just a pleasure to share the field with them.
So as a brand new pro, well, I guess your first race was Oceanside, right? Earlier this year.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
But you're still, I mean, you're still a 2024 pro, let's just say. Um, what was your road like to becoming a pro? Because as I understand, you didn't get started until a little bit later than, I mean, you weren't like a child athlete or anything like that in terms of being at that elite level, were you?
No, I wasn't at all. In fact, I came to sports in general in my 20s. But I think that I had so much fun once I discovered it was running. That was sort of my initial gateway into all of this. And I just loved trying different things. I tried adventure racing, crit racing. And at the time, one of my sponsors said, hey, it was actually Genuine Health. They said, hey, Ironman's one of our main clients. We'd love to have you do an Ironman. So hopped in and tried it. And in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna go back to running. Well, I gotta tell you, 8 years later, and I'm still here. I love the sport. And my path there was, I think very similar to a lot of people. I started out in the age group, and I mean, there's with three sports, there's so much to learn. You're always trying new things, and the it's sort of a hockey stick of improvement, especially at the beginning. That definitely slowed down for me, by the way. But I was very fortunate to work some really great coaches. Right now, I'm actually working with my husband as my coach. But in 2022, I won Ironman Canada, and then, like you had mentioned last year, in 2023, I won Ironman Tremblant 70.3, and it was really those two that made me realize, I never want to be a big fish in a small pond. I always want to be challenging myself and try to be the best I can be. So that's why this year I made the jump to pro and have all these incredible strong ladies beating up on me and teaching me the ropes in this new level of racing.
Excellent. So you've gone from like, winning to now like looking up to these people that have been around a little bit longer. But let's see. I mean, I'll be watching you. Maybe maybe you can do something awesome. But before that, let's go back to Oceanside. Was that your first race as a pro?
It was my very first race as a pro. Yeah. Yeah.
And
It
how
was a season opener.
because that's also a massive race, right? I mean, that's like the
Yes.
maybe the North American season opener, right? And I mean, who was there? I mean, we all know who was there, but in terms of the women, what was the field like for you at that time?
Oh, Emma Palin was there, Paula Finley was there, Taylor Knibb was there, like all of the big heavy hitters. It was everyone came out to play. They brought their best winter fitness, and everyone was lean and mean, and it was intimidating, to be honest, to be sitting there. I've actually watched some of my peers do their first pro race, and you see the anxiety and the nerves. And I look back, I'm like, holy smokes, why did I choose Oceanside for my first one? Well, I know why. I never choose the easy route, but it was truly an extraordinary experience to start with Oceanside for sure.
Incredible. And then after that, you went on to Texas. Is that right?
I did Texas full Ironman, and I mean that was my first time ever doing that course, and I love it. It was such a beautiful, for one, Texas is awesome. Like I had never spent time in the woodlands before, and it was just such a beautiful area. That race is so special. Like I think I've earmarked it on my calendar to go back every single year. And I also really love where it is in the race calendar. Like this whole idea of being able to spend your winter when it's, especially in Canada, the winter isn't very nice. So you might as well be training. So you have all this great winter fitness that you can bring to a race like that. And yeah, it was just, I had so much fun at that race. It was a really good race for me. And that was my first pro race where I was in the top 20. So I was really happy with that.
And again, I mean, like the others, that's another hard one. I mean, it's a competitive one, right? It's not like you're the only pro
Yeah.
there, is it? That's a big, huge one with everybody there.
Totally, especially because I'm targeting all of the Ironman, the Pro Series. So
Right.
that means all the races that I'm going
I
to
see.
are competitive. I'm not targeting soft races so I can podium. I am going for the races where the strongest field is there so I can truly measure myself
Wow.
against the best. And then I can race and learn to race in this brand new way of racing. The reality is like a lot of people say, okay, well, it can't be that different than racing in the age group. And it's so hard to fully articulate how different it is, but it's a whole new world. And so I'm trying to just learn as quickly as I can and trial by fire, and might as well use this awesome pro series and all these incredible strong athletes to show me the ropes.
I mean, I guess your mentality is if you say you don't want to be a big fish in a small pond, or however you phrased it,
Yeah.
you'd rather be a pro and do something harder than like, beat all the age groupers. And so now if you're going for the pro series, you're really putting yourself to that test. I mean, it's the opposite of me. Like I choose the least competitive races to see if I can do anything, and I still
Well,
can't.
Well,
That's
it all comes down to your goals, right? Like for me, it's so much like I'm chasing this growth and this self-improvement, and I'm never going to get better at the same speed if I am putting myself in a situation where maybe I'm artificially inflating um my skills. I want to be where I'm truly measuring,
right.
like I want to see, okay, Taylor Nibb is going to wipe the floor with me. Let's go.
But
And but I learn, right? So
but maybe
and that's
not.
wonderful.
Maybe not either. And you see it happening. You see like, I mean, I'm just like watching pro races. We see pros that maybe are not the ones that are favored to winning all the time, and anything happens in this sport. And so,
Exactly.
I mean, Taylor, I like her a lot, but she better watch out, right? I mean, there's nobody's safe. It's never that simple, is it?
I like your attitude, Andrew. I'm going to adopt it. Yeah, Taylor might need to watch out. Who knows?
Excellent. So for the rest of the year, what else do you have happening, Jessica, after Mount Tremblant?
I have the Lake Placid full. And so that's sort of where my season formally ends. What I did was, especially because it's my first year, I wasn't sure how my body would adapt. Because number one, now I've done 5 races in a very short period of time. And actually, I did another race, a local smaller race. I really think it's important to support your small local races as well. So love doing that. But then I'm going to take a mini, like I'm going to continue training, but take almost a mini off season for a couple weeks just to reset, be a normal human being, like take a bit of a summer, and then really put a race and likely an Ironman in like late fall where I
Okay.
can do a proper build. Because one of the things that I find that's new to me is when you race this often, you actually start losing fitness because you're always going from race to race. So you're spending time, peaking for a race and then you're tapering. And then your goal then is to recover. It's not necessarily to build because the races are so close together. So giving myself a little bit of time to fully recover and then do a proper build, it will help me see exactly it. I will show up much stronger for those races than maybe some of the races that I'm doing right now. I would say a big point in pride for me, though, is the fact that I've been able to train, 20 plus hours a week, show up with these pros healthy at every start line. And for me, that is such an enormous win in my rookie year of being able to take that level of pressure and training stress and being able to continually show up healthy. Consistency is huge for me. And for me, I'm taking that as a huge win.
Right. So not being too over eager, or I guess a negative word would be like greedy with doing too many races too quickly. I mean, you're probably excited and it's probably fun, but you don't want to overreach, and like you say, you'll never recover. You'll
Mhm.
taper a bit, but you'll never actually build. So each race will get harder and harder. Like, you lose fitness, you're saying, right? So a proper
Totally.
concerted build to something focused later in the year will probably be more healthy for you, right? So
Absolutely. And then even through now, it's looking at my training sessions and looking at the whole year as a picture, because I think sometimes you can look at one race as an individual piece, but I think racing in the pro field has forced me to look at my entire year as a very holistic thing. And your goals and the way that you train is a little bit different when you have, 5 to 7 races that you need to hit the start lines for healthy. You're not going to attack every training session like it's a race. You focus on consistency and health and staying injury free.
interesting. I mean, I guess the philosophy or the approach as an age grouper is different, right? So we don't have to care as much, and you're a lot more focused and properly planned. Okay,
I
so
don't know. I think
yeah,
age groupers are able to look at the whole year. I just find some even in so at the club that we're a part of, a lot of them will have like one goal race of the year.
yeah,
So I totally understand the desire to put all your eggs in one basket and let's go. Like, so it's yeah, the one race, it's a little bit easier to just focus and go for it.
yeah. I mean, that's what most of the people I know and work with do. Is you have one A race, maybe two A
Yeah,
races, and then.
yeah.
But as a pro, I mean, you don't want to keep coming in last place every time, do you? Which
Ideally not, no.
it's not the idea of being a pro. So do you have any advice for age groupers, and maybe your perspective as a pro? And maybe, I mean, you've been an age grouper, obviously. Do you have any advice for age groupers in terms of how they can improve, and maybe some really the top age groupers who may be aspiring to be a pro?
Yeah, so I'll start with the first part of that in terms of just advice. I think that like make sure you love it. If you don't love the process of training, if you have injuries or life happens where you aren't able to race, it's going to be devastating. And so, I love triathlon. I love the pursuit of that fitness. I love the routine. I love the structure, and the community that triathlon brings. So fall in love with that process. And then I would say the other piece is consistency. Just focus more on consistency than intensity. Don't try to win a workout. Show it on the race course. And I find the 80-20 rule is really, really helpful where, 80% is easy and 20% is hard. That's sweeping generalization, but just don't go too hard. Make sure that you're focused on consistency. Coach Jim Vance, he's an incredible coach, and one of his phrases, and I love it. It's the best ability is availability. So it's like being able to show up to that start line beats the person who was crushing a workout a week ago, but their body's broken and they can't be there.
Wow.
And then for age groupers who are looking to make the leap to pro, I would say, do it. Don't be afraid. You need to have a mindset of growth and just this continual drive for results and to unlock the best in you. It is a completely different style of racing. So reach out to mentors and people who can give you the advice and the support. But the one thing is, I have found the pro field so welcoming and receptive to all the new pros. We love this sport and we want to grow it. And I think the best way to grow it is to continue to drive up that top level of our sport to drive more people into it. So I think the more pros, the better. So don't be afraid. And if anyone listening has a question, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any question you have on that process.
And how might they be able to do that besides posting in the comments below? Can they reach you directly?
Yes, absolutely. So you can just DM me through Instagram. It's Jessica Cullen, and I will respond. I answer every DM that I get.
Well, thanks a lot, Jessica. And if you guys enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, comment, and leave Jessica a message. And we'll see you on the next one. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here, Andrew.